Morning everybody. Is it still morning? Yes. And yeah, following on from last night's cooking with the field knife, I'm going to show you how I wet mould my knives to their sheaths. These sheaths from Cutler's range of bushcraft knives came with the same pattern sheath. So these ones in here that you can see soaking there. And all I've done is pop them into this Tupperware box with a bit of warm water for a few minutes, let the leather soak up as much water as it can so it becomes malleable, and then we'll pop our knives into them. They've got cling film on, and to protect the blades. They're not going to stay in there for too long, but give them that bit of protection, and then we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's crack on. If you can hear chewing, that's the Blighty puppy. Happy chewing away on his nyla bone. Great pieces of kit if you've got a young dog. Right, so first things first. Get your sheath out, let it get the excess moisture away, and I'm going to do the skinning knife first. So what I do is you place it in to the sheath all the way in like that, and then just start moulding, hence the name, wet moulding, our leather to the shape of the blade and to the knife. See? It takes a bit of effort, a bit of pinching. This is veg tan leather, and it hasn't been moulded before, so it's gonna take a little bit of time. So there, I'm going to pop that to one side and there, and get the other one out. You can see that the water's gone sort of a peachy colour, because obviously that's the veg tan coming out. So this is our star of last night's little cooking show, cooking with Blighty, and what a pie that was, by the way. I should have shown it you, but there you go. Living there. Now some folk don't like to pinch too hard around the handle, because the chances of nicking the inside of your sheath as you if you push it too hard in, as in mould too close to the handle here, the chances of you putting your tip of your blade through this goes up. I've seen it happen, and it is heartbreaking for the people who do it. However, I'll show in a minute how I put my knives back into their sheaths or scabbards, whatever you want to call them, and that shouldn't happen. Anyway, so moulding away there. Some people will leave their knives in the wet moulded leather, but I don't do that because I like to, when I put my sheath, I'll just put it in the airing cupboard or up by the gas boiler and let it dry for by this time tomorrow it should be nice and ready to rock and roll, and I'll show you the next stage of what we're going to be doing. And yeah, so the knife can come out. Make sure it's nicely seated. I don't know if you can see, as I'm pushing, a bit of moisture comes out. I don't know, when I first unboxed them, I was in a bit of a pickle as to what the handle was. Like I said last night, I spoke via email to the guys over at Cutler, and they came back and said, yeah, it's ash. And it's part of the grain structure was so tight and was smoothed off so well that it did look like a piece of hawthorn or even a bit of acer, some type of maple. But yeah, it's great to see different knife makers using different materials and stuff, and the fact that Todd's not done this with his sheaths just allows you to have a bit of ownership, I think, over your own blades, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all, but I think it's wonderful. So just a disclaimer as well, I did buy them, they haven't been sent to me. I wish. But if you do ever do a Scandi grind one and you want a bushcrafter to test them out for you, I'm your man. Okay, so that is our skinner, all done, ready to go. There. This is our field knife. Still doing a bit of moulding with it. I'm going to gently ease them out there. Here comes Jessie. You going to say hello? No? Oh, she's gone all shy. And that's what we're left with. Now, I am going to pop that back in. That's the blighty puppy smashing his way into the radiator. To let it reform. I've got no worries about the steel metal in there because it's nicely wrapped, and I'm on standby with camellia oil in this old oil tin, old oil can. That was my dad's, and I'll clean them up in a minute anyway. So I'll just leave them in there. And what we'll do, like I said, is I'll put them out to dry, and what we'll end up with is a sheath that is a little lighter than it was when it first came out of the box. That's the colour it was, and that's the colour it ends up. Only a tiny bit of difference. With a definitive moulded shape. A lot of, sounds a bit harder, I don't know why that is. And a knife that fits in nicely and is nice and secure. Now, when we first got them, I said I think it will be able to take or do a spark, make a spark, and I've since tested and lo and behold, yes it does. Okay, so a great sparking knife there. So when I said about how not to cut the shoulders off the outline of your knife, what you should do is when you put your knife in, rather than just shoving it in and hoping for the best, put the spine of your blade onto the forward facing part of your sheath and just let it follow its natural curvature down, and that's it. Okay, so that's your dried one. So what I've done with this is I've taken some 500 grit sandpaper here, and I don't know if you can see in the light, taking some sandpaper where there's been a little bit of potential for hot spots and the like, and just giving it a quick rub. Don't be shy to do this. This is your knife. It's come from a fantastic maker. However, it's your knife. It's not theirs anymore. So if you're not happy with a surface, again, taking responsibility for your own kit, just do the touch test. I'm really happy with that. And then you can use tongue oil, quick drying tongue oil. I use that on all my wooden ware. It's one of the bowls that I make for Handmade and Blighty. This is a sycamore bowl, and a holly bowl. It's had a bit of whitewash from milk paint, and they've all had a coating of tongue oil. And once the tongue oil's dry, we then put some traditional beeswax that we also have. We're coming onto our website soon, Handmade and Blighty and Blighty Bushcraft, of beeswax polish, but it's also got a hint of coconut oil in there as well. So yeah, so I've already put a dab of tongue oil on there. So all we do is open up our beeswax, get a little bit there, and just being careful with your blade, obviously. Some people will wrap them up in sticky tape or whatever, but I'm happy. He says final last words. And what we do is work that beeswax into the timber, into the scales. And if there are any micropores, that will fill them up. Now, ash has really, really large pores. It's a thirsty wood when it comes to timber and oil. And it does need a lot. However, the tongue oil, what the tongue oil does is penetrates deeply and then seals. You do a rub over with your 500 grit sandpaper, and then this final bit of oiling will seal it. because it's beeswax and coconut oil, unless there's an allergy of some sort with the person using it, it's fine. It doesn't matter if you ingest it, so it's perfectly food safe. So we're buffing away. Don't know if you can see that. Slight tiger stripe going on in there. It's beautiful. Ash, what a beautiful timber. Without it, and without the Somerset folk helping Alfred the Great, we wouldn't be speaking this language, that's for sure. Sometimes you get a little bit of gubbins stuck in the lanyard hole, so all you do is get a piece of cord, piece of string. This is where the bushcraft police will be after me because I'm not calling it cordage. A piece of string, this is obviously paracord, and just run it through. So you've got a nice clean hole again. And that's it with the handle. So the next thing we'll do is, if you look to the left of the screen, you should see there's a strop, and we'll strop that. I think that's going to be for another video, and just gently strop. Because it's got that double bevel, I've got to make sure that my stropping isn't rounding it off, because there's nothing worse than having a sharp knife, putting it on the strop and then just simply rounding off the bevel rather than sharpening it. So that's that. And then we do shave test. Happy with that. Give that a wipe off. Get our camellia oil. Good rub. Now, this part here is called the choil, and these shoulders here, they'll be getting quite a bit of grief as you're using it, so use your surplus oil to rub into those as well. Spines had beeswax on it, so that's cool, there's no dramas there. Continue with the faces, all the way to the tip, bevels. Obviously not going to be slicing our fingers onto that. And that, folks, is good to go. So, spine onto the front of the scabbard, slide it in, and there we have our wet moulded sheath. Once these two have dried, I'll show you how I polish, or stain and then polish my natural sheaths, my natural leather. So I hope that was of interest, hope it helped you. Don't be scared to have a go at these things, okay? Simply put warm water into a Tupperware box that's big enough for your sheath. Leave it for 5, 10, if it's brand new, maybe 15 minutes. Take it out, shake off the excess, put your cling film knife in, squeeze, 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 squeeze around the shoulders and everything. And once you're happy, let it dry. to this, and then also whilst it's drying you can take your knowledge of your knives and start making your handles fit you how you want them to. If there are any snaggy bits on there, get rid of them. You're taking responsibility. And then protect your blade. You can protect your blade using tongue oil, protect your blade using the beeswax, and yeah, looking after your kit, I think, is a really relaxing thing to do. And it's also really cool because you might see that there's some items that need replacing. So if you're looking after your Bergen, or some buckles broken or whatever, so look after your kit and it will look after you. Kit admin first, then you can start looking after yourself. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you've got this far, well done. And yeah, this is Greg from Blighty Bushcraft, out to you.